Hello again. This is that part of the show where I strain and break my neck to figure out how to get a bag up here so I can show you what I go through to cut it open. I get my flip inserts done first, or flips. Yeah. I got the inserts done the same way that I did last time. They're with your names on them. And with your names being on them, we'll know how many coins each person gets. And so here goes nothing. I've got this camera on me right now, so I can show you this. Here it is. Fed sealed. Got a lead seal on it right there. It's been crimped shut. And the tag is dated. I don't know if you can read that, but it says Feb. What is it? Say Feb 25th, 1974. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I get my trusty scissors here. And I'm going to cut through the baling twine that connects the bag to the seal. Now, we have no idea what's in here. None of us do. All I do know is that this is a Fed Reserve wrapped bag from 1974. There's your tag. Here's the seal. And the bag is open. And upon initial inspection of the bag, I'm seeing what appears to be circulated coins. So this is another. These are actually Fed Reserve Bank of St. Louis wrappers. And the coins are, some of them are circulated. See what we get in here. I grab out a couple of dozen of these rolls and just look at them real quick. Yeah. They are circulated. Kind of hoping these would be 73 or 74 BU rolls, but it turns out that they appear to be circulated. I'll hold a fistful of them up to the camera and let you take a look at them. Never seen any of these, so you'll get the first look. They're not in bad shape, but they are circulated. Some of them. Okay, so best thing I can tell you that we can do is take a couple of these rolls off to the side. Let them be our count roll. 71D on the end there. And that's tails. Let's see what this one has. This one has a 64 on one end and tails on the other. This one, 72D on one end and tails on the other. This one's got tails on both ends. This is basically the same as the last bag that I opened. This is a 72D with tails on the other end. Except the difference being the paper these are wrapped in is what, 68D? Nope, 61D. 61D with tails on the other end. But these are actually wrapped in Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis paper. So these are Fed wrapped circulated rolls. Here's your red brown circulated, uncirculated on one end, and a circulated brown on the other end. Is everybody able to see me? Just want to make sure because this thingy is telling me that I don't have enough input stream quality for smooth streaming. Okay, well, I guess everybody can see it then. Well, I am glad that I opened this with you guys. Show you the bag is a circulated bag of coins as it appears. It could be that the bottom half of this bag might be uncirculated. I don't know. It just depends on what happened to be in the hopper at the time they wrapped them. That's basically what works. They don't care if they're circulated or uncirculated when they wrap them. There are some uncirculated coins in here, but I don't think there are any rolls of uncirculated coin. Well, no, I take that back. Some of these rolls do look like they're uncirculated rolls. Let's see what this one is. That's a 73D on one end, shiny on both ends. This one's a 60-something. The 8D it looks like on one end. And, well, this is going to be one of our rolls right here. This is a 72D on the other end. Look at this. This 1972D. Let me see if I can get there. Look at colors. Nice colors. That's a 72D on that end. There you go. Focus, camera. Focus. This is ridiculous trying to get my camera to focus. Well, the other end will focus because I don't want it to. See? No, this end. Focus. You can see the colors anyway. So we're going to take this roll as one of the rolls that we're going to use. Everything looks good from my house, right? And here's another one. This one has what looks like more or less uncirculated coins on both ends. The 72D, nice shiny 72D on one end. And nice shiny 1972D on the other end. Nope, it's a 73D. So let's take these two rolls out of the bunch. And we'll put the rest of the bunch out of the way. Get all these cute rolls and move them so that we can do our job here. There we go. Well, that was about 25 rolls. All right, the bag tag with the bag. And here's our names. I've got everybody's name in here who belongs to this bag. Here's my draw bag. And I'm going to change over to the reveal screen so that we can do this in normal fashion. All right, so here we go. I'm going to zoom my screen in just a little bit for size. There we go. And it looks like I've got 14 people watching. Fine by me. However many it takes, right? I'm going to open this roll that it's got a pretty uncirculated coin on both ends. So I'm just going to see what happens when we open this one up. This one could be uncirculated all the way through. Who knows? Directly from the Federal Reserve of St. Louis, Missouri. Going back in time to February of 1974. That's what, 46 years ago? 45 years and 11 months? Something like that. February of 1974. I should be playing Casey Kasem or something right now, just to give everybody a good feel for 1974. It looks like a decent looking roll. Yeah, it's a decent looking roll. I think it's decent. Looks like a lot of these coins are uncirculated or close to it. Most of them are 1973 that are uncirculated in here. All right. So, first name out of the bag. Hey, Brian. Brian Allen has decided to join us. I haven't seen you here before. Brian Allen, one of the authors of the book Strike It Rich with Pocket Change. All right, so the first person to come out of this roll is going to be Paul Hampton. We're going to get 6 coins for Paul Hampton. Let's take a look at them and see what we've got. Look at that color. Man, that's just juicy color. These are rolls from a sealed Fed Reserve bag from St. Louis, which was dated February 25th, 1974. This side's nice and bright uncirculated. We had no idea what was going to pop out of this roll or out of this bag until we got it open. We still don't really know what it's capable of producing, but we're looking for anything cute, pretty, nice double dies, repunch mint marks, anything of any real value. We're on our second coin now. Both have been 1973D so far for Paul Hampton. You notice the large initials there. That's the only year those were on Lincoln Cents. So you can actually look at the reverse of a 1973 Lincoln Cent and date it by the reverse alone, simply because it has the largest initials of any of them. That's coin number 2 for Paul Hampton. Here's coin number 3. Now this one is circulated. I don't know what year it is. It looks like a 64. Yep, 64D. This is the third coin in the roll. Showing a little scrape marks on the face. He's a Scarface. And late die state reverse. You combine late die state and circulated and you get nothing but pudding. That's basically what this coin looks like. A bunch of chocolate pudding. Really hard to tell anything that's going on this. And coin number 4 in the roll for Paul Hampton will be a 63D. Now in this one especially, we're going to be looking for that center of the 3 sticking out of the lower loop. That's going to be 1963 DDO number 1 FS 101. It's quite a valuable double die. I mean, especially when you're considering coins that came straight out of a circulated roll, valuable would be, you know, $10 or so. Oh, well, this one has a science experiment growing on the reverse. I guess Paul can tell us how this comes out. Actually, you know what? We did it before. We'll do it again. This coin is just nasty. I'm going to throw it off to the side. No, I'm not even going to count it. Here's Paul's 4th coin right here. This one looks much nicer. Hey, Hawkeye. This one's a 1970D. 1970D does have a couple of known double die obverses. No known double die reverses. And flip it over. The orientation of this coin is right spot on. Straight up, straight down. Full coin turn with a near 0 degree offset. Now coin number 5 for Paul Hampton will be this one. Looks like from the 60s. Yep, 67. Even with glasses, I can't read the date on coins. Not like just flashing them underneath a light. I can't read the date. I'm not that good. I used to be. I was about 20 years ago. I think a lot of us more aging people can tell you that 20 years makes a difference, especially in your eyesight. All right, this will be coin number 6. No, this won't be coin number 6. This one's ugly. Oh boy, this is ugly. It's a 68D, and unless it's a double die reverse, we're not even going to count this one. And if it's a double die reverse, we'd have to ask Paul whether he actually wants it. Okay, this is not the double die reverse. So we're going to chuck this one off to the side. I'm going to grab another coin for Paul. This is going to be his 6th coin, so he gets 6 coins out of 8. So not all of these are pristine, pretty-looking coins. Now, the ends were nice. I thought maybe the rest of the roll would be pretty nice, but as it appears, we're being proven wrong. Yeah, silver. Let's get a silver dime out of here. How about that? That would be interesting. I have found a silver dime before in a roll of Lincoln cents. It wasn't a Fed-wrapped roll, but... and this one definitely is. Alright, let me put Paul's coins away here into some flips and get them off to the side so that we can keep moving. I thought for sure that we were going to end up with uncirculated rolls here, but that didn't work out to be the case. Let me grab another name out of here and see who's next. Jim Fletcher is going to be next. All I had room for was J Fletch, but I know who it is. It's a 73D. Couple of pretty decent repunchment marks we could be looking for on this, plus there is at least one known minor double die obverse, but I'm not seeing anything on this coin. A Lincoln dime? No, it wasn't a Lincoln dime. I think it was a 53D Roosevelt. And nothing on this particular coin, except that it's a pretty decent looking 1973 Lincoln. Here's another one. This one looks like a 70 or 71. 69. Okay. 1969. This is the first year of the shallower Lincoln obverse design. 1968 had a really rough year for Lincoln cents. The master dies were just totally worn out, and the letters were merging with the rim. This one's almost a missing FG. Almost, but it's there. Kind of a floating roof, a little bit of a floating roof, but those we don't really count for much. But the design was just, I mean, it was just done. It was horrible. And so in 1969, they recut the design more to the true appearance of the original 1909 design, and they started minting coins with that new design. That design lasted until 1974. In 1974, they changed the design again slightly. There's another one with a nearly missing FG. This one's got some machine doubling. You can see that machine doubling on the bottom of the letters there. It's very flat, very shelf-like. See that weakness right there? How those letters don't stand out very much? That area is weak because we're exactly opposite one of the highest points on the other side, and that's going to be the shoulder. So when you don't get a full, complete strike on one of these memorial cents, especially the ones from the early to mid-1970s, you're going to have this kind of a slope on the bottom of the steps. You're going to have incomplete roof detail, cornice detail, and your detail on states is going to be a little bit off. And that's because you're looking at the area that's directly opposite this spot right here. The highest area of the design on the obverse. Die bounce and die chatter are actually the same thing, and yes, that's what caused this. So there you go. Good going, Coin Junkie. All right, we're at coin number 4 now for Mr. Fletcher. It's a 1970 Philadelphia. 1970 Philadelphia, we do have a chance of running into a few pretty decent little double dies. But this particular one is not. Let's take a look at the reverse and see what we come up with on the reverse. 1970 is not known to have double die reverses, but that doesn't mean we don't look. That just means we don't know what to look for. So we look more carefully. And you too could be a discoverer. All right, next coin for Mr. Fletcher, number 5. This one's a 72D in all its bright shininess. Let's take a look for a double die obverse and see if we can find one. Okay, this does not have the re-engraved N. This is not the re-engraved design or the master die doubling. This one's been smashed up against something else. Looks like part of the NT of scent or something to that effect is showing through on the hair up there. It's in Q's and it's backwards, so it's definitely going to be a very heavy hit on the coin. It's not a mint error as such. Okay, so this particular coin does not have anything on the obverse. Let's take a look at the reverse real quickly. 1972 Denver is not known to have double die reverses, but once again, I sound like a broken record. We always check them. We check them to be sure that we do or don't have what we think we've got. This is not a grease drop, Kelly. It's too sharp. The edges of whatever hit this coin are too sharp for that to be a grease plug. That was metal. Whatever that is was metal because it's so sharp. Razor sharp. Okay, that's coin number 5 out of 6 for Mr. Fletcher. Here's coin number 6 out of 6 for Mr. Fletcher. It's a 1973 as it appears. It is a 1973. 1973 Denver, we're going to be looking for a nice repunchment mark to the south. A couple of really minor double die obverses. And we have nothing on this coin. We do have a small struck through fiber right there. Right in the middle of the jaw. That's a very small struck through fiber. That's kind of cool. I don't know. I just think stuff like that's kind of cool. It doesn't really have any value as an error coin, but it's kind of cool. It's kind of neat. All right, plug all the way through this, and we have 6 coins for Mr. Fletcher. A couple of them are kind of cool looking. None of them have a lot of value. Ah, you were on when the 38. I love that coin. I still love that coin. I was going to try to talk it out of the owner and see what I could buy it for, but I decided, meh. You know, I do this so that people can enjoy their collections. And I don't want to be the one to take all the good coins. I'd rather these people be able to get their good coins and collect them, have fun with them. Brian, you got a new book coming out? Because I know that you said something about that. Did you want to say anything about that? I don't remember whether you actually said you were coming out with a new book or not. It's just something in my head, maybe. Next coin goes to Doug Reese. Doug Reese gets to the next 6. Oof. Well, this one's got a big giant spot of stuff stuck to the coin right there. That's the very kind of greasy stuff that could make a struck through grease filled die. But this one's not. This one's just a bunch of grease on the coin. Very late die state reverse. Well, that's an interesting little thing on the reverse right there. That, folks, appears to me to be a very, very thin rim clip. Or something to that effect. It could be damaged too, but it doesn't look like damage. That looks like a very thin rim clip. So you got the 5th edition of Strike It Rich sitting on your desk awaiting edits. Very nice. Well, you know where to send it if you want someone else to look through it for you. I could definitely do that for you. Okay, there's Doug's first coin. Here's the second one. Oof, this one's ugly. This one's going to get pulled out, most likely. It's a 1957D. It's a wheat cent. But look how ugly that is. Oh my gosh. Oh. This thing looks like somebody was trolling a parking lot with it. Oh, this is horrible. I tell you what, because it's a wheat cent, I'm going to give it to you for free, but it's not going to count as one of your 6. Let's count this as one of your 6. This is a nice 1973 Lincoln cent here. I'm going to look for all the typical things that we've already talked about looking for on a 1973. That sounds good, Brian. When is that show? I can't remember again. I'm going to have to mark that down. In fact, I'm going to write it down. Let me get through this show here. I'm going to write it down. Go down, mark it on the calendar, and make sure that I know that I'm going to that show. Is that when it is, the 8th? Okay. So probably what I'll end up doing is I'll go to the Charlotte show, and then I'll just head on down that way, because the Charlotte show is the 7th through the 9th. If that's all right by you. We can work it out. If it is the 8th, that's probably what I'd like to do, is just kind of leave this area for 2 days and head toward Charlotte and then come on down to Greenville area. Let's see, 1964D doesn't appear to have... It's the 14th to the 16th. Okay. Well, given it's 14 to 16, then I'll just head down there that weekend. So let me go ahead and write that down to make sure that I've got it on the calendar, because, well, Mama doesn't like it when Daddy disappears and he didn't write it on the calendar. So Feb 14th to the 16th. Greenville, South Carolina. Okay. Going to Spartanburg to a show. That's going to be fun. This is ugly. This coin is kind of ugly. Didn't have anything on it. It orients correctly. I'm just going to set it to the side. It's not good enough for me to hand it out to somebody. I'll buy dinner. It's already told you I'd buy dinner. I'll eat potato chips and I'll feed you steak. How's that sound? Yeah, this one's got nothing on it. Yeah, it's kind of cute, but there's nothing on it. What was that, a 68D? And that's coin number 5. This is going to be a 1966. 1966 is known for having a pretty nice looking double die obverse, and there is a very nice double die reverse for 1966. However, they're both rare. Both very difficult to find. Nothing on this one. That's 5 out of 6. Let's take a look at his 6th coin. And what this... See, it's a 1970D. Looking for RPMs, looking for the possibility of any minor double die obverses. No known double die reverses, but we're going to look anyway. Ooh, Liberty got all smashed up. They got all banged up in a crash. So I crash with another coin. Or a tool, or a parking lot, or something. That's one of the things about damage on a coin. Trying to figure out what caused damage is kind of like trying to figure out why the sky is the color it is. It's a very complex thing. A lot of different things go into it. There's a lot of possibilities one way or the other. It's just not, it's not something you want to do. The basic thing is to figure out what color the best color is. And then you go after that. So like with coins and damage, trying to figure out what kind of damage or what damaged your coin is not really important. Knowing what damage looks like versus what a real mint error is, that's what you're after. You're after the knowledge. Oh, you know what? I gave him that 5070 free. So we got one more coin. Got one more coin for Doug Reese. Let me get that one more coin out and we'll go take a look at it real quick. what is this? A 69D. We could be looking for a double die obverse on this where there's extra thickness to the center of the 9 and the bottom left of the 6, but I don't see it here. There's another minor double die obverse for the 1969D that shows in the motto, and I don't see it here. Of course, I've never seen one, so that I don't see it here is of no surprise at all. And the reverse is not known to produce double die reverses. Take a look anyway, though, right? If it's free, do it. Okay, got nothing going on there. So that finishes off Mr. Reese. Now let's move on. Hi, Paul. No, we haven't found anything yet. Adam's first coin, 72D. That's one of the years we look for sure. Let's see if we got anything on here. This one is one of the recut designs. So this is going to be what we call the master die doubling. Master die doubling is not known for producing any double dies. All of the double dies known for 1972, all of the ones that involve the motto, are known to exist only on the... Ooh, that's a really weak strike there. Take a look at that. They're only known to exist on the master hub that does not have the doubling on it. So if you see the master hub doubling on a roll, you start opening up a BU roll of 1972, and you notice that you've got master hub doubling on the coins. When you get through the first 3 or 4 coins and all of them are the master hub doubling, you probably don't have any double dies in your roll. Just the way it works out. So here's a 72D. This one's got a little minor split serif on the upper part, but that's probably just one of the mint mark punch damaged little thingies. See, this has even got the die gouge in the S. It's got the doubling on the left side of the U. It's got that stick appearance to the T and the R. It's got the doubling on the left side of the E. It's got the recut N, recut N. And the top of the B of Liberty looks like it's just almost opening like a box. That is normal for the master die doubling. So we don't have a double die obverse. Let's check the reverse and see what we've got on the reverse of this coin. And it appears relatively normal to me. There is but one double die reverse known, and it's in the ceiling just above Lincoln's head. There's like an extra ceiling line. Alright, so that's 2 out of 6. Let's take a look at number 3. What do we have here? It's a 1971D. 1971D with a rather weak mint mark. A rather weak hubbing all around on the upper part of the design with no hub doubling. Hey, Shannon. We opened this bag hoping that we would find some nice uncirculated coins, and what we found was a bag of circulated coins that are all wrapped in St. Louis Fed Reserve wrappers. It was purchased as a mystery bag with the assumption that they were going to be 73 or 74D BU rolls, because there was another bag that was busted open that was all BU rolls. So we just kind of assumed that this would also be a BU roll bag, as I'm sure did the person who originally bought them, because if someone had bought these back in 1974 for the $50 they cost and knew that they were getting circulated coins on the inside, they probably would have turned the bag back in. Because at that time, collecting circulated Lincoln cents was not a pastime. People did bag collecting, they did roll collecting, they hoarded rolls of coins, knowing that they were getting value, good value in them. And And this one's a circulated 1970 Lincoln cent. Nothing special about it. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick and see if we've got anything there to talk about. A little bit of lamination right up here on the upper reverse. You can see those little bits starting to peel away. You got some more right here on the steps. You got some more of it down here toward the N of 1. You got little pieces flaking upward. And it tends, just like usual, it tends to kind of trace a line. And this line goes in this direction right through the coin. And you can see how I just continually follow where those flakes are. And that's lamination for you. Relatively common. No real premium value for it, but it is kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of neat to look at. I like the ones that are very dramatic, though. Ones that'll smack you in the face if you're not watching out. Okay, got a 69D. This one is not a double die. It's not a repunchment mark. And flip over and take a look at the other side. The 69D is known for having the FG-less reverse. This is not one of them. I think when they listed this in the Cherry Picker's Guide, they listed it thinking that they were going to have something scarce, and then people started sending them in to have them slabbed, and well, after they slabbed a few thousand of them, they kind of figured out, oh, wait a minute, we probably don't want to be doing this. There's no real value to these things. And that's kind of how it tumbled out. So we got a 56D. This one is a wheat cent, or it should be a wheat cent. Well, if it's not, we've got really something to talk about. But this one doesn't have any die variety that I can see on the obverse, and the reverse should be a wheat reverse, and it is. 56D is not known for double die reverses. Or 56 Philadelphia is, but 56 Denver is not. And we have nothing to look at. So, oh, that was Adams' 6 coins already. This is not Adams. So we put Adam's name in here and draw another name and see who gets that 56D. Kind of got carried away looking through coins. That's what I usually do. Just get carried away. Bulldog. Okay, so Bulldog. This is the first for Bulldog. Is this 1956D wheat cent. Then we're going to look at Bulldog's second coin. Bulldog's second coin is going to be a 1969D. And I do not see the markers for a repunchment mark or for the double die obverse that we know of. Have I found a 56 Memorial? If I had, I'd probably be retiring now. No. A 56D Memorial would be a very highly valuable coin. And almost 100% certainty that it would be fake. Because they didn't make the Memorial reverse was designed by Frank Gasparo, and it was not actually designed until 1958 and 59. His concept was in 58, and he actually came out with the design in 59. And so the Memorial reverse was never even seen until 1959. It's a 1973 here. I don't know what mint yet, but it's a 1973. I can tell you that by looking at the initials. Let's take a look at the other side. It is a D mint. Not one of the nicer repunchment marks. It has been polished to death because you can see the corner of the vest sticking out of the field there. Kind of lose the vest in the die polishing. Kind of a cute uncirculated coin, but nothing special. Nothing really special. All right, that's 3 out of 5. Here's number 4. Coin number 4 out of 5 for Bulldog will be a 1963D. And it does not have the doubling in the area that we would be looking for it. And let's take a look over here. Yeah, see, that would be the new design using an old design for the new year. So 1959 was a memorial year that had a reported to have a wheat reverse. What is that? Oh, it's a big scratch on the coin. But what you would be asking for in a 56D memorial reverse would be a coin that would use a reverse design that hadn't even been invented yet. There's a 64D. And this will be Bulldog's final call. Very late die state coin. Very late die state reverse here. You see how the outer edges of the letters toward the rim are completely fuzzy and just stripes out toward the rim. That's what you're looking for on a very late die state coin. There are no outer edges to the letters at all. Certainly no premium value for something like that, but it is interesting. Just to note that die state is a tell of the age of the die at the time it struck a coin. So die state comes in early, mid, late, things like that. Whereas stage is a completely different thing from die state. Stage basically tells what markers are on the coin at this particular stage. One of those markers being the die state of the coin. So you can have a mid die state with a die crack from the head to the rim, and that mid die state part is a marker for whatever stage we'd be talking about, like stage C or whatever. Mr. Dowd will get 6 coins. Here's his first. Mr. Dowd's first coin is a 1963D. It appears to be a normal 1963D. Yeah, the yard can wait. It's not going anywhere. Right? Every day you wait just makes it a little bit harder. Not a big deal. You're ready for a little bit of hard work, you can wait 3 or 4 more days. $50,000. Holy moly. It's raw? I didn't know that it was raw. I thought it was INAC certified. Did it come out of the certification? Because I think I remember at one time it was INAC certified, wasn't it? I know that somebody deemed it to be genuine in order for the Secret Service to not take it away as a counterfeit. Because I think they wanted to confiscate it. And they weren't allowed to confiscate it because it was proven to be, to someone, proven to be a mule. Probably intelligently won't certify it, because if they do certify it, then they have to guarantee it. And someone will figure out how to prove them wrong. That's coin number 2 of Mr. Dowdle's 6 coins. Here's coin number 3. Got a 1970 Denver. Pretty much just one of the filler coins in the roll. Nothing here to see. Let's take a look at the reverse. And we've got nothing here. Let's check the orientation of obverse to reverse, and it looks normal. Move on to coin number 4 out of 6 for Mr. Dowdle. We have a 1968D. See all that extra rim right there? That is part of a slightly misaligned obverse die. The obverse die was the hammer die at that point in time. And that's why we see a misalignment as a double rim. You have a little bit of a rim cut going on right there, which is why that double rim is abruptly ended, and then it's terminated and then comes back on because of that rim cut. But this is not a it's not an error that has any real value. Misaligned die strikes generally only have any real value when they're misaligned far enough off to actually cut off part of the design. Then they have some value. This particular coin is just a bit on the soft side, and that's about it. Still decent, though. Here's a 1960D. This tends to be one of the oldest coins that we're finding in these rolls. We've found some wheat cents, but 1960D is the second year of memorial cents, and they tend to be somewhat populous. Number of them around. I'm an entertaining professor. Thank you, Mr. Hampton. I've actually managed to teach some college courses on computer programming at one time. Here I was, an adult straight out of college with a high GPA. I was on the president's list, and the local state college decided to hire me after I took a couple of courses on Train the Trainer, certified technical trainer. I got a CTT examination and certification from Microsoft, and so they decided to use me as an instructor, and I was the evening time instructor on different computer applications and in programming like JavaScript and Java and Visual Basic and things like that. And I did that, I did that for 2 years, 2 or 3 years. But I taught courses every week. I taught 3 or 4 courses a week. I was an adjunct instructor. GOB 5. GOB gets 5 coins. This is the first of the 5. It's 1968 Denver. Looks like it could possibly be... No. I thought it was going to probably be RPM number 2, but it's not. And we go through basically what's... Well, not really a good, nice way to put it. It's essentially a beat-up circulated coin. There you go. There's something to talk about right there. That huge, heavy hook-looking thing in the center of the building is actually Lincoln. That's his beard. You're looking at it right side up, and the beard is, of course, backwards, so the beard is sticking out to the left. That part that you see to the right, butting right up against the statue, that's actually his throat from the obverse. So that's kind of cool. That'll be JOB's first coin out of 5. Here's the second one. 1973D again. Well, we have no shortage of 1973D Lincoln cents today. Seems that we're running into a good little pile of them here. Got nothing special on that one. Nothing special on this side either. 1973D is just not one of... I mean, it's got a very nice sharp reverse, but it's not one of those issues. It's known for double dies. Just doesn't produce much on the reverse. Here's your next one. This one's going to be from the 60s. It's a 64D, and this one's nearly uncirculated. It's just a decent looking AU-ish coin with some original color and luster. And it's got a die chip inside the R of Liberty. Let's take a look at the other side. Oh, now look at that. Yeah, huge die cracks. That means that this, so you can see a die crack there on column 1 as well, that this die was beginning to fail. Now, just because there's die cracks doesn't mean that the die is a very late die state die. It just means that the die was about to fail. The way that you tell it's a late die state die is by looking at the outer edges of the letters toward the rim. If you've got very heavy flow lines and you're missing the outer edges of your lettering, then you do have a late die state or very late die state die. Now, the idea with the crumbling columns, as Kelly Michaud is calling it, is just a weak die. It's a weakly created die for one reason or another. And this particular one is because it's aging. It needs to be retired. And it was not retired before this coin was struck, thus giving us a very late die state coin with a crumbling die. All right, number 4 out of 5 for JOB is going to be a 1973D. And it appears to be perhaps a normal 1973D. Let's see. Give that mint mark one good looking over. Okay. Normal on the mint mark. Normal on God We Trust. And normal on Liberty. Let's flip it over and take a look at the reverse. See what happened there. Once again, nice sharp reverse. Somewhat well struck. But we've got just a sharp reverse. We've got nothing else. No hub doubling, no cuds, no anything else specific. It has proper orientation when you flip it, so it's a normal coin. Here's a 1973. Another 1973. Now, 1973 Philadelphia, there is a pretty nice double die obverse for those, but they are kind of scarce. And the reverse is going to show us the same thing that we've seen on all other 1973s. Huge initials, but no die variety. So that's GLB's 5 coins. Let me get him started here. I did not put these in flips up to this point, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now. Oops. What did we do here? Mr. Dowdle got 6 coins. 2, 4, 6. Bulldog got 5. Okay, I got everything straight again. And make sure I'm doing my stuff right here. I gotta have somebody babysit me through this. Watch me and make sure I'm doing it right. Because I get carried away with doing what I do. And I tend to only pay attention to the coins. And I'm going to start paying better attention to my paperwork, making sure I've got everything filled out right. Everything going straight. Okay. Next out of the bag will be Kelly Michaud. Yes, Kelly, I will show you a doubled eyelid if we do find one, but in this era, I would not necessarily expect to find one. Doubled eyelids are more common earlier than 1965. And they are most common in the late 50s. And you don't really tend to see them much after that. Predominantly and primarily because in this particular instance, if you take a look at this 1969 and you look there, there's just not a whole lot of eyelid to double. It's not like the earlier ones where the top eyelid is like a large stick. In this design, it's actually just a little point. It's just part of the rest of the eye. See, there's another case of you're not going to find a doubled eyelid on that because there's nothing to double, really. Let's see what else we got here. Very slight misalignment to the reverse die. You see how the rim is thinner here and it gets thicker as you go around. And then over here it actually even doubles a little bit. That's relatively normal, actually. For 1973, that would be a very normal coin. Here's coin number 3 out of 6 for Kelly Michaud. Okay, we have a little line right below the D mint mark, and if you follow that across to the vest, you'll see that it lines up perfectly with a hit. So I'm going to probably mark this as a hit and move on. See, there you go. You can now see it very well that it is concave. At first, very moment that I glanced at it, right as it went down, it looked like it could be some sort of a misaligned repunch mint mark, but it's not. Another slightly misaligned die. These are going to be very, very common in the 70s. Very easy to find. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick and see what we come up with. Nothing do I see. Coin number 4 out of 6 is going to be a 1971D. 1971D for Kelly Michaud. And I'm not seeing anything doubled on this coin. Take a look at the other side. One of these days, Alice, we're going to find something nice, really nice. And everyone's going to be wondering how we found that because, well, I don't even look at that. Well, that's your problem, not mine, right? We look at everything. All right, 1969D. A nice big die scratch running right through the 9 and the date. The first 9. Look around on the obverse. We see nothing. Good afternoon, Hidden Numismatist. And we're showing nothing on the reverse on this one. That's 5 out of 6. Now we've got Kelly's last coin and the last coin in this roll. Right here. This is the one that was showing to the front. This is the one that has all the color on it. And it is a re-engraved N. So it is the master die doubling. And being that it's the master die doubling, we're not going to find anything hub doubled on this coin. Let's see here. Got nothing going on. All right. So Kelly Michaud gets his 6 coins. And get them into flips so that we can move on with the next wrapper. Don't happen to be finding much of anything out of these particular rolls that we've looked through so far, but this is one of those places when you're looking at circulated stuff that was put away many, many years ago, your opportunity for finding the good stuff from back then is a lot better than finding it in circulated coins now, because we're talking about 46 years of coins sitting still. And here we are opening them and going through them. 46 years, almost 50 years ago. Almost 50 years ago. When this bag was wrapped, the Beatles were still playing music together. Elvis was still alive. That's right. And people were still watching Planet of the Apes. Okay, here's the rest of this particular roll. Yeah, it looks pretty nice. Let's see what we got in here. Levels of Madness is going to get 6 coins. Well, this one's pretty. This one's got some color on it. There's a 1972D. That color is on the coin, folks. That's just pretty. Pretty color. That's right. Pulled our troops out of Saigon. When these coins were wrapped, Nixon was president. He didn't leave office until August of 74. That's an interesting little die crack right there. See if I can get it to show up any better. There we go. Little die crack from the 9 down to the mint mark area. See if we come up with anything doubled on here, though. Not seeing any double die. Hey, Bulldog, why don't you move to North Carolina? Pick North Carolina. That should be your favorite. Yeah, because if you move to the Raleigh area, then I would have a friend locally, right? I don't have much for local friends because, well, I spend a lot of time on my on my desk doing work, and I don't see the outside of this office as much as I would hope. I do walk the dog a few times a day. We get outside. I go shopping with the wife once in a while. Once in a great while, I actually drive away from the Raleigh area. And nothing on that coin. That's 4 out of 6 for levels. Let's take a look at number 5. Number 5 is another 1973 Denver. 1973D. Take a look around everything to see now I could use the help hauling copper up and down my stairs, that's for sure. Okay, we got nothing going on this coin. That's 5 out of 6 for Levels of Madness. Let's take a look at coin number 6. It's going to be a 1961D, and this one's in pretty nice condition. So let's hope it's actually got something going on with it. That's just one where I'd be looking for a doubled eyelid. See how much bigger the eyelid is on this coin than it was on those ones in the 70s? That's why it's so much easier to find doubled eyelids, because they actually show up. But this one doesn't have it. This one doesn't have much. There's a little tiny struck through right between the C and the E of cent. Little tiny thing. And so we got nothing on the coins for Levels of Madness today. This particular draw. We do have one more bag that we're going to be opening around, I'm going to say 5:30, I think it is. 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time today. That's going to be about an hour and a half from now. So that's part of why I'm kind of rushing through things. I want to make sure that I get all these coins looked at properly, but I also want to make sure that I got time to get these streams done and get the next one started. You know what I'm saying? Okay, let's see who's next. Hawkeye. Hawkeye for 6. Here's Hawkeye's first. Looks like a 73. It is. 1973D. Get this back into focus. Yeah, lost a little bit of focus there. Oh, lost it again. There we go. There's another one that has the slightly misaligned die. A spot on the obverse. So spots, I don't like spots. Ay, ay, ay. Not seeing anything here. So I'll move on to the next coin. Hawkeye gets 6 coins. That's 1 out of 6. Here's number 2. Another 71D. Okay, nothing on that side. Let's take a look at the next coin. Another 73D. This one's got a big old fingerprint on it. 73D with a big old fingerprint. Yeah, traffic in Atlanta is horrible. I was traveling through Atlanta one afternoon. I think it was actually kind of early in the afternoon. I don't even think it was very late. It was probably like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It took me an hour and a half to get through Atlanta. Since then, I've only traveled through Atlanta at night. I will do anything to avoid having to drive through Atlanta. Now, of course, if I'm going to Atlanta, I don't really have a whole lot of choice. I really like northern Georgia. Dalton to Dahlonega and Cleveland and those areas. I really like that area. Some parts of Georgia are just really beautiful. And then areas like Atlanta, not so much. Especially in the summertime, you get caught up in the traffic. You can't even roll your window down. Pavement's so hot, it just cooks you. There's a 71D, and that's going to be the last coin for Hawkeye out of this roll. Got nothing else to look at on this. I'll flip it over to the reverse and see what we get. Not seeing anything there. Well, see, there's another good reason to move to North Carolina. And, I mean, coming out of California, North Carolina is going to seem cheap. Even though it is more expensive than some areas around here. It's about the same as South Florida in this particular area. I dropped. I don't drop often, but when I do it right. All the way to the floor. Yep, the gold belt. Love the gold belt. Actually have gold that I found in the gold belt. Doing my own panning. CMOS Omaha. 4-6. Here is CMOS Omaha's first. Out of the 6, it's a 1971D. And I don't see anything on this one. Look at the reverse. Has proper orientation. It's a very weak reverse. You can see that the O of is almost missing. The E of E pluribus unum is missing. Steps are very rounded at the bottom. It is rather normal for these not to get good complete strikes because they were very high designs. And the presses just couldn't push it. The relief on the designs was just too high for it. Okay, there's a 72D with the master die doubling on the obverse. Master die doubling on the obverse. Probably not going to be a double die. Check the center of the reverse again for DDR number 1. And not there. Kelly, I have no idea how much beer costs. I have no idea. Hello, Wild Bill. No, you haven't missed anything in this roll. I guess if you're just showing up to the stream, we opened the sealed bag, thinking that there could be 73 uncirculated, 74 uncirculated. Turns out that it was another bag of circulated coins. So we are going through a couple of rolls of them, see what we come up with. This one looks like it's could possibly be RPM number 60. Whoosh, I can't remember. I'm going to mark that one and put it separately because I do believe it is a minor RPM with a hook coming off the bottom of the mint mark. RPM 60 something. I'll check it closer once I get finished with the broadcast. Hey, you have to watch out around here when you're talking about green stuff because you've got Greensboro, North Carolina. You've got Greenville, North Carolina. Greenville, North Carolina is east of here. Greensboro, North Carolina is west of here. Then you've got Greenville, South Carolina, which is in a different state. This is a very strange looking coin. That is weird. I'll give it to you, C-Mus. This one's going to come to you. I have no idea why this coin is so worn down. It is much lighter than a Lincoln cent should be. But it's heavy wear. Look at that. You see those designer's initials? I'm kidding. You can't. They're not even there. This coin is worn to an absolute frazzle. There's the statue right in the middle. It's a 1961D. I don't think I've ever seen a 1961D worn this much. This is an AG. I don't think it's a dryer coin. I guess it could be, but I don't think it is. It just appears to be really heavy wear. I don't know. It's going to come free to C-Mus Omaha. Because it's not really a coin to me. It looks more like a little slug. So he still gets 2 more coins. Next to the last, 1968 Denver. Come on, be a double die reverse. Live a little, right? Do we have one? Do we have one? No. Given that out of circulated coinage I've only found one 1968 double die reverse in my entire life, I'm not really expecting it, you know? There's a 72 with the master die doubling. Not going to be a double die. 135 degrees. All right, let's flip this one again and see. Flip this one straight over. Nope, it's normal. What are some of the other dates, Brian, that are like the really sweet ones? You say something about like a 1972S, 72D, 72S? He gave me a list one time. I'm sorry I ignored it. I printed it out and thought I was going to like hang it on my wall or something, but then it turned into one of those, you're moving soon, so you're not going to be able to keep track of this. And boy, I tell you what, I sure didn't. 72D and 73D. Okay. So 68D, 72D, and 73D. Was it something about Denver? Was that maybe a common denominator for these? Was Denver doing something differently than they should have been doing, or something different than San Francisco and Philadelphia at that time? 61D is just it's a very, very worn coin. Very interesting, very worn coin. Okay, next out of the bag is going to be Joe McBride. Joe McBride's got 4 spots in this roll. So here's the first one. It's a 1973 D. Does not appear to be a double die or a repunchment mark on the obverse. Scratches in the field out there. I'm also always on the watch for heavy clash marks. This one is also, as a lot of these are, this one's also a slight misaligned die. 66, 68D, 94, and 16. 2016, huh? Huh. And the 66 could have been a Denver mint, because we don't know. So we could actually be talking about 66D, 68D, 72D, 73D. Although with the 66, we'll never know. I thought it would be kind of fun. At one point in time, I actually thought that it was possible to get bank wrapped rolls. Ooh, this one could be important. Is it? Nope. Is it? Nope. I was looking for DDO 1, 2, 3, or 4. It is none of those. 1971 Philadelphia is a difficult double die to obtain. Anyhow, where I was in talking about 1965 through 67 coins and how they don't have mint marks, if you got a, say, a fresh BU roll from the Fed Reserve of San Francisco, you can be pretty sure that the San Francisco Mint struck them. And so you can get die markers off of them and they'll list those die markers, photograph the die markers, and be able to, I guess, in some form or fashion, be able to catalog all of the dies that were used to create the coins of those different years from the different mints, so we could split them apart mint for mint. But I'm kind of thinking, yeah, probably not exactly where I would want to go. A lot of study, a lot of time put into something that probably wouldn't create or generate much of any interest at all. I mean, heck, even photographing all the different dies of the 1909S and disseminating that information didn't necessarily put me in any attention-getting position, as I thought it would. Yeah, something going on my phone. Some sort of announcement. It's probably an Amber Alert or something. Okay, well, that's the 4 for Joe McBride. Got 71D, a 71, and 2 73Ds. At least I'm consistent. '69 rotated reverse nickel. I think I've actually carried some rotated reverse nickels before. I don't remember right now, though. I know I've had like railroad rims, partial color strikes on nickels. I've had a number of pretty decent error coins across my desk. Okay, let's see what's next here. Farm Dog. Farm Dog gets 5 of these. As with the last bunch of rolls, I think I'm going to sell these today as well at a discount price, because I want you guys to be able to have fun going through them. So with a, I'm going to say with a 10 roll limit, let me know how many of these you would like at $2 a roll. If you want any of these rolls, they're going to be this St. Louis Fed Reserve wrapped, but they're circulated coins inside. I've got about 90 rolls. Here's Farm Dog's second coin. It's a 58D. It's a wheat. There's a wheat amongst us. SRK Iron Man wants 10 of them. New Marshall will take 10. Hey, Marshall. Mr. Marshall, haven't seen you around today. Got nothing on this one. This is going to be the 022574 bag because it was wrapped and sealed on that day. SRK Iron Man, 10 rolls. New Marshall will take 10 rolls. Bulldog takes 5. Paul Hampton will take 5. Kelly Michaud takes 10. Wild Bill will take 5. Chuck Patillo takes 5. I will combine all of these onto one invoice for today, and I'll combine the shipping with the other, anything that you got during the auction yesterday. I'll combine along with the reveals, everything else. I'll just combine everything for this week together and charge you the lowest amount that I can to get them to you. Okay. There we go. We've got 2 coins for Farm Dog already. Let's get the third coin from this roll for Farm Dog. It's 1971D. And appears normal there. Let me take a look on around. Hawkeye will take 10. Appreciate it, Hawkeye. Hey, Blues Coins. How's Oklahoma treating us today? Ooh. Okay. And you got nothing going on this side. It's cold. Cold in Oklahoma. I've been there when it was cold, brother. Oklahoma is probably the one place where I saw the temperature drop the fastest I've ever seen the temperature drop in my life. Somewhere near sunset. Was pretty nice outside. It was 50, 55 degrees, maybe 60 degrees. This was in the middle of the winter time. 3.5 hours later, at 8:30 p.m., the temperature outside was 9 degrees. Ooh, that's interesting. That took a hit from a reeded coin. 9 degrees, folks. 3 hours. It dropped like 40 degrees in 3 hours. I had never seen that before. That's the strangeness of Oklahoma for you. All right, here's coin number 5 for Farm Dog. Farm Dog did end up with 1 wheat cent out of this little plunder. It doesn't look like he's going to end up with a whole lot else of value coming out of this particular roll. Steve wants 5. Steve Patet, you're going to take 5 of these. Let me get these names written down here. Hawkeye for 10. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 20, 40, 50, 60. It's 65 rolls gone. Yeah, that's just Oklahoma for you. That's how things work in Oklahoma. They always say that, you know, no matter where you go, they always tell you, well, if you don't like the weather, just wait another 5 minutes. It'll change. Well, I tell you what, Oklahoma couldn't be more true to that. I lived in eastern Oklahoma City around the base. I lived there from 91 to 98. I lived there about 7 years. I managed to move away not too long before the tornado, the large F5 tornado, hit and basically destroyed the building that I had lived in. I went back to help clean up because I had friends there. Well, Mr. Patet, there's your 5 right here. Well, Bill, take 5 more. Okay. I'll scratch Well, Bill to 10. So that's 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I got about 10 more rolls I can sell. All 4 seasons can hit you in a single day. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. Okay, I knew this one was going to kind of look a little rusty, crusty underneath the scope. And it does. It does not look pretty at all. So this one, I think, will go in the junk pile. And we'll move on. Yeah, we'll move on. Mr. Patet, I'm not going to force you to take that coin. This one looks a lot nicer. What is it? 1973D? Not seeing any of the hub doubling that I would generally be looking for on one of these. It's not the RPM. Or one of the RPMs. There's more than one RPM for the issue. There's just one that I love to look for, though, because it's really nice. Nothing on the reverse other than the huge initials that we're used to seeing. You're back and you have tomorrow off. Awesome. So you're going to be at all the reveals tomorrow, huh? Well, here's another 1973D. Let's see what we have on this. Now, see, that mark tells me that could be a minor repunchment mark. Could be. Looks like I got nothing else to be looking at on the obverse. Let's take a look at the reverse real quick. And then I'll pull it up and I'll actually take a look at it through my loop. That will give me a better idea of what we're looking at. Nope, that's just a piece of stuff on a coin. Sorry, not part of an RPM. All right, 1961D. Not seeing anything particularly interesting on this coin. Let's flip it over and take a look at the reverse. Nothing there, just a circulated coin, probably an XF. Okay, here's number 4 for Mr. Patet, 69D. Yes, Lady Spitfire, I did. That was me. Gosh, that was weeks ago. Got nothing there. And Steve Patet's final coin. It's nice and shiny. It looks like a 73. Oh, 72 Denver. Let's see what we have on this 72 Denver. Well, it does not have the recut N, but it's also not a double die. Let's take a look at the reverse. See what we got there. Nothing doing. Nothing special about the reverse on this one. So Stonecutter will take 3. That's probably all I want to sell out of the bag, because I'm afraid that there may be some cracked or busted rolls toward the end of the bag. Those are not going to go out, because I don't want anything to go out that looks like it could have been opened. I want to make sure that what I send out to you guys are rolls that are in good shape. There's a 64D. It's kind of ugly. I'm sure of it, Lady Spitfire. This is the way it works. Most of the time when we're a mess all the time. I'm kind of like that. I can identify. I can definitely identify. That was the first coin for somebody else, because Steve Patat already has his 5. So let me get these 5 coins put away for Steve. And then we'll draw another name and figure out who that 64D goes to. It was a 64D, wasn't it? It's about how much attention I'm paying right now. It's meant as a compliment. That is a 64D. All right. Whose name is going to come out of the bag here? Jeff Dunn. Brian, by all means, post. And in fact, I can do this. You are now a moderator and can post links if you want to post a link to a document. Because not being a moderator, you cannot post a link to a document, but now you can. 69D is the second coin for Jeff Dunn. Looks like we've got just a circulated 69D here. It's like an XF coin. Let's take a look at Jeff's third coin. Another 69D. I'm especially looking at the lower part of the curls for the 6 and the 9 to see if we can come up with a double die obverse. 69D is known for having a couple of double die obverses and a few RPMs as well. Just they can sometimes tend to be a little difficult to locate. All right. Nothing else going on there. Let's take a look at Jeff Dunn's fourth coin, a 1966. Looking for a double die obverse that shows mostly in the motto, or a double die reverse that shows all over the reverse. Brian, how rare are the 1966 DDRs like the one that you had listed? Because I know that the 66 DDR has to be a rare coin. I'm going to put that aside because that coin is damaged. I'm just going to move on. And this will be the fourth coin for Jeff Dunn. It's a 65. Well, we didn't change a whole lot, but we did change to a 65. You have to go to the bank. This one's got scratches on it. Oh, what was that? Nope, not rotated. This one's relatively normal. Okay, that's 4 out of 6. Here's number 5 out of 6. It's a 1973D. I saw that fingerprint, didn't know exactly what I was looking at, but now I know what I was looking at. A little bit of a fingerprint on an uncirculated coin. It would be really nice to find something unusual. I would love to find something that is, well, like that 1938 clip planchet we found the other night. That was super severe nice. Super duper nice. Okay, here's Jeff Dunn's last coin. It's a 69D. Gosh. I'm finding a lot of 69Ds in these rolls. Here we go, folks. Here's a list of rotated reverse wheat cents coming directly to you from one of the authors of Strike It Rich. This is Brian Allen, Dr. Brian Allen. He is known as a Lincoln Cent guru. He's a friend of mine, and we are going to be visiting here pretty soon at a coin show together. I am currently packaging these coins up so I can move on to the next person's coins. Wow, nice. I'm going to have to come back and copy this down. And Midnight Silver Run. Midnight Silver Run gets his 4 coins now. Starting with a nice shiny one. Looks like a 71D. 1971D. Looking for anything out of the ordinary on this one. Gosh, there's a lot of 73Ds. These are all different dies as well. For sure different dies, like with completely different markers. That was a question, not a statement. Because I don't know. Oh, there's a 2016 with a metal turn? I didn't even know about that. Coin turn versus middle turn. For anyone here who doesn't already happen to know, coin turn versus middle turn. Coin turn is when you flip the coin top to bottom like this. And, well, just like how we do ours, you start here and you flip it straight over top to bottom, and the obverse and reverse are oriented with one another. Now, for Canadian coins and a lot of other coins around the world, if you hold it by the top and bottom and spin it around, then the obverse and reverse stay aligned with one another. That's for metal turn. So metal turn is as if it was hanging from a necklace and you're turning it around to look at the design properly on both sides. Coin turn is when you hold it side to side, like this, the sides of the design, and then you flip it up and down. So what Brian's talking about with the rotation is the rotational direction is clockwise, correct? It's always clockwise, unless you mention counterclockwise. So it's clockwise unless you mention counterclockwise. And basically what it is when you look at the obverse and you flip it straight over to look at the reverse, then it's going to be rotated that many degrees off. 90 degrees is straight sideways, 180 degrees is straight upside down. 270 degrees would be straight sideways the other direction, or counterclockwise, 90 degrees clockwise. I'm finished toying around with this coin. Let's take a look at it. We've got some spots on it. Not real bad spots, but we got some spots. It was the 1966 double die reverse that I was asking about, the real strong one. I noticed that you had taken photographs of it at one time, and there are not a lot known. There's not many coins known, that's for sure. I believe the photos that that James uses on Variety Vista are your photos, I believe. Next coin I'm just tossing off. It's a heavily damaged 1964D. Nobody would want it. So here's a 60D small date. Too bad that's not a Philadelphia coin. For a Philadelphia coin, it has some nice value. This one could be a repunchment mark. That's a 1960D small date. It tells you that they're not highly uncommon if you're finding them in rolls in 1974. Nothing on the reverse of note. That's coin 3 out of 4 for Midnight Silver Run. Here's coin number 4 out of 4. And he gets a 1972D. Let's see if this 1972D proves to be something nice. And it appears as though it will be a normal 1972D. I really should be paying a lot more attention to rotated reverse Lincoln cents, because I actually have a really good way to be looking for them. I just never really have paid that much attention, I guess. Bad example I'm leading. Okay, next person will be PJ Curtis with 6 coins. Gonna have to get another rollout. Get these wrappers out of my way. A lot of wrappers up here. PJ Curtis will get 6. I've got 4 of them from the previous roll, and I'm going to have to get 2 out of a new roll for him. Just pop the paper on the end. Pop the paper on the other end. I'll show you what I'm doing here. I'm just using this tool to pry the paper out. It's plastic, so I'm not damaging the coins at all. I get the paper completely unraveled, and then I unroll the coins with the wrapper going over the coins. It's just kind of a habit of mine now that I do, just so everything is always the same way I did it last time I did it. So there we go. That'll be the last of those I have to open for this particular reveal. And our first coin for PJ Curtis is a 1973D. Absolutely no Zinkins in this bunch. These were wrapped in 1974. They were wrapped a full 8 years before the first Zinkins even came out. So we don't have to worry about zinc rot. We don't have to worry about plating, doubling. We don't have to worry. There's a lot of things we don't have to worry about. Blistering, linear plating blisters. A lot of things we have no concern about on these. In fact, I don't even think we're going to find anything post-1974 in these rules. I believe because the bag was marked as 1974 and sealed in 1974, I highly doubt there's any chance there's 1975 coins in this bag. So these rolls are all 1974 or before, and because it was from, what's this one? Because it's from March of 1974, no, this is from February of 1974. Because this is a February 1974 bag, there's not likely going to be very many 1974 Lincolns in these either. Generally, your newest coin in this is going to be 1973. Here's PJ's third coin out of 6. What do we have? It's a 1970D. And this again, which is very normal for this time of this era, is that doubled rim showing us that it has a minor misaligned die. Seems like different eras were common for different things. Like, for instance, the mid-1950s are very common for having dies that were way overused. There's a 68D, it's all chewed up. Let's see if it's anything before we toss it in the garbage. This thing got chewed up heavily. And we got nothing on this coin. So, what was that? Okay. So, stick this one off to the side, and an air conditioner just came back on, or my heat or whatever's on. My wife controls that, I don't. The next coin's a 1962D with a little bit of a mustache. That's a counting wheel. That's from a rolling machine, a wrapping and counting machine. You've got the highly polished areas on the high parts of the coin, and then you've got bits of rubber. It's from the wheels that count the coins. Okay. Yeah, the 1966 double die reverse is... I knew that it was a very scarce coin. I didn't know it was quite that scarce. So, I mean, we're talking about a dozen or less even known out there. So, our chances of finding one are going to be extremely small. I knew of a guy from the eBay world who owned one back in the mid-1990s. I saw a photograph, and then I believe I saw a photograph that had been taken by... Who was it? Took that photograph. Probably JT. I think it was JT Stanton took a photo of one. And then the photos that I saw on the Variety Vista website that you took, those are the best photos I've seen so far of that die. But mere photos are all I've ever had the luck of even seeing. I've never had the chance to observe one of the coins myself. Okay, well, we got nothing on this coin, so PJ Curtis gets 6 relatively normal Lincoln cents that were wrapped by the St. Louis Federal Reserve in 1974. And get his coins put away, and we'll move on to the next person. I believe we have 2 or 3 more people. Maybe fewer than that, but I'm being optimistic. Let's see, how many do we have? We've got one left. One left. Eric Beyer. Eric Beyer gets his 6 coins, starting with this one. It's a 1971 D mint mark. This is his coin number 1 out of 6. It wasn't on Variety Vista. It was on John Wexler's website. That's right. I remember that now. Hey, look at that. Little statue turned out to be just a little head. 1 head and 2 knees. All they got left. That was a 71D. Here's his second coin. This is a 1973D. Looking for separation lines anywhere on this to show hub doubling. 1973D does have at least 1 minor double die reverse. It's got nothing on it. Eric Byers, third coin. Okay, I hit a 1972D that is a nice BU coin, but it's very spotted on one side. So we'll take a look. We'll see if it's anything. If it's not, we're going to toss it and move on, because I don't like coins with spots. You'll see what I'm talking about when I flip it over. This thing's mostly black on the other side. Man, there you go. Now see, that stuff will come off there. I don't know exactly what it is, but it appears to be a loose carbon that'll just flake off the coin. But it has stained the coin. Nothing on this one. I'm just going to toss it in the copper bin and move on to the next coin. Eric Byers' third coin is 1971D. 1971D. I don't remember whether or not 1971D as an issue specifically is known for double dies, but 1971 plain has at least 4 of them. And the dies were all made in the same shop back then. They were all made in Philadelphia. That didn't change till the 90s. Philadelphia made the dies, then they put them in a closet or in a storeroom, and then when one of the branch mints would order dies from Philadelphia, they would go and they would punch mint marks into them, box them, and ship them. Hey, look at that. Pretty good sized die gouge right there. Interesting. PCGS MS65 red. Show off. 1970D makes up Eric's 5th coin out of 6. I hate that we're not really finding anything in this, but it is fun looking. Nice 71D. I knew that there was one. I'm having trouble placing it in my head right now, so I'm looking for pretty much anything. Now there was I believe it was a 71D that had it was like, was it die number 9 that had a bunch of chipping to the north on the RTY of Liberty and on the date. I think that was 71D. Ooh, this is just an ugly coin. See, we're going to skip this one. But it's a 66. So I have to check it. But we're going to skip it. Unless it's a double die, and then we won't skip it. This is not hub doubling. So we're going to skip this one. There's a link to it. You guys can go take a look. That's the 71. The link up above is going to be to the 66 double die reverse. Really, really rare. Just put it that way. Super rare. Okay. Well, that is the last coin of this hunt. So we didn't find anything of special note or special value. We did have fun, though. I enjoyed it. There's all kinds of stuff to learn about coins I haven't learned yet. That's for sure. I'm still learning new stuff. It's like, for instance, I learned today that there's a really nice 2016 rotated reverse that is a full 180 degree rotation. I had no idea. I did not know that. Okay, so I've got just a little bit of time. We can go through and look at some of the better key date stuff for varieties and the rest of this roll, because otherwise it's just going in the copper bin. And so I will flip through real quickly and I will look at anything that appears to be one of the dates that could be better stuff. I see a 69, but I don't know if it's a D or an S. It's a D. You bet your bottom I'll never skip a 69S. Looking to see if there's anything else of any great interest in this roll. There's a 60D. See if that's one of the RPMs. Nope. Not one of the better RPMs. Hello, Jessica. Here's a 61D that's nearly an uncirculated coin. Let's see what it looks like. Got nothing going on there. There's a 72D. Can't skip 72D. Too many chances of finding something decent. This one's going to be one of the master die double coins. So it's not going to have anything on it. The 73D. Only checking it because it's shiny. Uncirculated coins tend to show more minor stuff a little bit better. So if you pop through an uncirculated coin, don't really know of anything all that great that comes out of that year, you should still check it just to be sure. There's another coin that exhibits that issue with 1968D, and the reason why they changed the design in 69 to make it shallower, because the entire "In God We Trust" motto is just eaten alive by the rim. And that's because the hub was just about wasteland, and they kept making dies out of them. Okay, got nothing there. Another 72D here. And got nothing there. This one is the master die double. That's not anything. This one, there's some chance this could be 70D. Nope. We're just about down to the wire on this. I mean, we're done with the reveal. I've got about 35 minutes before I have to be back for my next reveal. I didn't ever get a chance to get a bite last time. I think I will this time. I had a big box come in, another collection. I have to go through it and figure out exactly what it was. And it was not impressive. So, here's another 72D. See if we find anything here. If I find anything, I'll give it away. Because, well, that's just the kind of person I am. I have fun playing with coins. This 73D is nice and shiny. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Just got home. You're ready for bed. It's not even 4 o'clock. Well, it's just about 4 o'clock. It's okay, I understand. I've been there before. Plenty of times. Here's another 66. Not the double die obverse. And not the double die reverse. There's 71D. $71D with not much of nothing going on. This is a little closer to the speed that I would generally be going through coins. A little closer. But if I was going through coins, I'd be using my slide. My slide is my little fluted board that I use. I line up a half a roll of coins on it, slide it straight into the microscope, look at them. Then I use another board to lay on top of that, flip them over to look at the other side. And with my eye, a good scope, decent lighting, good focus, I can go through an entire roll of coins inside of 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Doesn't take me long. Another 72D. See if I come up with anything on this one. Nope. Again, master die doubling, not a double die. Now, master die doubling is actually hub doubling. It is, I mean, it is actually classified as hub doubling. So it is actually technically a double die. But they have no value because they happen so high up in the process of making dies that a good number of the dies created by a given hub can make a bajillion coins, and well, they just don't have any value because they're really common. So 73D. See if we got anything pretty on this 73D. Got a pretty big gash going right through the middle of the 3 of the date. I appreciate it, Jeff. Thank you. Here's a 56D. First place I look on 56D is underneath that mint mark. If it's a high mint mark, I'm looking underneath that mint mark. I'm looking for that D and D south. It's not there, though. Not on this one. Not that one. Not that one. Not that one. There's a 71D. Nice, pretty one. Is this? No. This one could be. It's not a double die. I thought maybe it was a double die, but it's not. Got nothing going on there. Oh well, false alarm. But it was a fun false alarm. Not that one. There's a 72D. This one's kind of cute. Nice and bright, shiny. But it's from the master die. That was doubled. So it likely has nothing on it with no value. Other than the fact that it's a pretty nice looking 1972D Lincoln Cent. With a normal orientation obverse to reverse. There's a 69D. These things will, they'll surprise you sometime. You'll pop up onto a coin and suddenly, boom, double die. Wow. Be like, oh, okay. Just happens. You never know when. That's ugly. Another 72D. This was on the end of the roll. This is the last coin. Well, they had their counting machine set too tight. The roller. Okay, there we go. We're done. That's all I got. Nothing more for today. Actually, we do have one more today. We've got one in 30 minutes. Got another one coming up in 30 minutes. It's going to be the same basic thing. We're going to open up a bank sealed bag of Lincoln Cents. We're going to reach inside. We're going to grab a couple of rolls. We're going to see what they are. And I've got that one coming up at 5:30 Eastern Time. Right here on the Coppercoins channel. It is snack time. Time to get something to eat because my belly's telling me I'm going to start losing weight. And I certainly don't want to do that. See you guys in a half hour. And thanks, Brian, for stopping by. If you happen to have time, you can come back anytime.